Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 680. Now, in today's episode, we're talking about six key principles to have success. Now, this is being broadcasted live on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and places like that. So feel free to join us. We'll just have a bit of a pre-show, after show, where we get to know each other and really connect. I really like the community that we've built. So feel free to join us on the live streams. It's always a pleasure to get to know who I'm speaking to. Now, as I said, this episode is all about the key principles of success. And you may have heard me say some of these before, but it's always good to get it twice. Hey, I say you should get it 10, 20 times until it really sinks in. Now, when it comes to the first principle of success is to really know what you want. And I'm not saying to know what you don't want. That is such a bad way to start if we're just focusing on what we don't want. And the analogy I once came up with, and I'm sure because I've been saying it for like probably a decade or more now, but the analogy I always either thought I created or picked up, which is probably the latter, is that if we were in a car together, and me and you, we're going on a journey, and on this journey, we don't know how to get there. Now, it's not like it was, say, when I was learning to drive, when you used to have the map, right? Or this little CD-ROM thing you'd put in your computer and then print out the directions. You have to look at it, hopefully not when you're not driving, and on the side of the road, like I'm sure we all did. And that is what we'd usually do. But today, what happens? Well, we've got devices, and on those devices, we have Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever is your preference. And the first thing that we do is put in our destination. And guess what happens? Magic occurs. It programs or finds the quickest route, the most efficient route to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, let's say we're going on this trip and we're like, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go a little bit crazy. We're going to put in every destination that we don't want to go to in the hope that we'll get there. That would be absolute madness, right? Think about, you have to go to every destination that you didn't want to go to, and those destinations were maybe like horrible destinations, like places you really didn't want to go to, in the hope to get to your destination. Now, I hope that you think that is madness, because it is madness. It's something that you'd never do. However, with the brain, if we now change the story, most people will not be focusing on their destination. They'll be focusing on all the things and all the places that they don't want to go to. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to be more anxious. I don't want to be more fearful. I don't want to be more, I don't want to fail. I don't want to do all those things. And ultimately, what happens is you never get to where you want to go, because we're too focused on all the pain and we're too focused on all the things you don't want to happen. And that creates huge issues, and it just trips us up. We're never going to get there. So if you want to be successful, if you want to get to where you want to be, you, my friend, have to focus on your desired outcome, exactly where you want to be. Now, if you get anxiety, you get worried, it is your job, your opportunity to take that as a signal to focus on what you want. For when you do, you start to interrupt that pattern. You interrupt the pattern to get your unconscious mind to go, not this, but the desired outcome. So don't put in your internal satellite navigation system the destinations of what you don't want. Do the reverse process, where you are focusing on, or the reverse process of anxiety, in other words, which is not focusing on what you don't want, but focusing on what you do want. For when you do, you're tricking your unconscious mind, or you're nurturing your unconscious mind to look for the right answer. So number one, know your outcome. Be clear, not on what you don't want. It's good to have a benchmark because you know that, but really go into, look, this is the life that I want. I want $10,000 every single month. I want a relationship. I want this career path. I want this business, and it's going to look exactly like this. This is what I'm going to feel like. This is what's going to happen. These are the opportunities I'm going to get. This is why I want it. For when you focus on the desired outcome, you are getting your unconscious mind to tune in, tap in, and become deeply aligned with that desire. And notice how I said outcome, not dream. Dreams are good, but same thing with goals, they can come and go. But if you have an outcome, you're really lasered in. So change your dreams to an outcome. This is the only outcome I'm gonna get, and I'm focusing directly on it. Now, one of the big things when it comes to number 2 is we have these dreams, we have these goals, but more importantly, outcome. Usually we're focusing on what we don't want, but now you're gonna start to get your mind and body into focusing on what you do want. The thing that we tend to not do, and I really say this with as much love as possible, is that we rarely take action. We rarely do. And whether it's because fear's getting in the way, we don't believe in ourselves, all those things, we don't really take too much action. And I see action in 2 ways. Yes, the mindset. Take action on growing your mind. Take action in learning. Have the positive thoughts. Have the positive ideas. Have those outcomes in your mind. But equal to that, take massive and inspired action. You are in charge of your goal. You're in charge of your mind and your results. It's not up to if the sun's going to come up tomorrow, then maybe I'll do something if it doesn't rain, or maybe if I'm relying on this person. No, it comes from you. So take that massive inspired action. Thinking about it it's like within you to be inspired. It is all about you to make it a reality. So take that massive action. Not many people do. They give up way too soon. They're not seeing success, they're not seeing the results, and then they're like, look, I'm just not gonna do it. Maybe I'm broken, maybe I'm unfixable, maybe that goal's outside of my reach, maybe my friend's saying I can't do it, therefore I won't do it, and you give up. Do not give up on your dream, my friend, or your outcome. You want to go, look, this is mine. We only, depending on what our beliefs are, but look, we only have this conscious awareness in our life right now. So let's use that time to actually gain leverage and do the things that we want. You want a business? Get the business, create it. Work with people who's going to help you get there. If you want that relationship, don't be staying at home. You want to be able to cultivate the mind and take action. You got to do things. Now, sometimes people go, look, why, and therefore we get lots of reasons. No, we got to take responsibility and ask, not the whys. It's okay to have the why you want it, but not when it comes to the doing of it. You go, because if you go, why am I like I am? Your body's going to go, you know, last summer you fell over, everyone laughed. That's why you're not going to do it, because you're silly. Ask the right questions. Ask, how can I make this a reality? How can I have this, put the effort in, and get the result that I want? How am I able to make this goal and dream a reality? So take massive and inspired action starting today. What are you doing this week, this day, this moment, to be able to get you closer to your outcome? That is the success that we're after. Really get that in your mind. Become self-reliant. Realize it's on us, and that's good news, because we are powerful then. We're not relying on other people. We're not relying on our past, which has told us that why we can't do all the things we want to do. This is an amazing opportunity that we have together right now to take action today because it's right. And I say that a lot these days because I feel like we forget what is right. We feel like the fear is guiding us to our future. No. We've got to choose over fear and choose on what is right. Your birthright to be successful, to take nothing less than that success. Yeah, you can adapt and we'll get there soon, but don't take other people's opinions of your dreams a reality. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be, excuse me, it doesn't have to be what am I trying to think of? It doesn't have to be your truth. It doesn't have to be your life. There's so many opinions in the world, and we get lost. We get so muddled as to what's happening, what we should do, the expectations, the economy, is this happening, crazy stuff's happening in the world, and I get it. The world is crazy. But just because it's crazy, it doesn't mean you shouldn't live your best life. It doesn't mean we should give up on our dream. It doesn't mean we should give up on success. Go out there. Make the difference that makes the difference. When I set up my day, I think of like 3 tasks I can come up with today that if I do consistently, right, massive action, consistently will get me closer to my goal. I'm taking care of my future self by doing so. So knowing we've got to know our outcome, knowing we've got to take massive and inspired action, the third step is to really become aware of your results. Sometimes we do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And they say that that's madness, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. When things aren't working out, do something else. You've got to have that flexibility. You got to have that resiliency, the adaptability to be able to, if something's not working, it's okay. I don't give up here. I just got to adapt. I've got to evolve myself. I've got to look for some other advice. Maybe I've got to speak to other people to help me. Maybe I've got to learn from other people. Maybe I've got to adjust my behavior. I've got to adjust my thought process, adjust my mindset. You got to know your outcome and take action. But if the actions aren't yielding the results that you want, you've got to adapt. You are an evolving creature. There are species, and it's not a nice thing, but there are species out there who have died out because they weren't able to adapt to the environment. Now, we've adapted over the years. We've grown, we've evolved. Think about it as nothing different than that. If something's not working, if you're not getting the results that you want, you have to do something different. For when you do, you adjust, you adapt, you start to become more fluid. You're not just static and stuck, you're starting going, no, look, I'm just gonna change. I'm going to change my communication. I'm going to change what I do. I'm going to change the absorption of the information that I'm taking in. I'm going to look for more information. I'm going to invest. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So know your outcome. Take massive inspired action. Ask the right questions, but become resilient. I've seen people from people I've known. I've seen people, or I could say I've read a lot about people who have left countries with literally nothing or very little, maybe a few dollars, $50 to their name, and start, adapt, and become crazy successful. If you look at some people who have become, say, successful when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to financial abundance, many of them didn't have much. They went all out and became adaptable. They started to become resilient. When you become resilient, you are in charge of your mind. You're in charge of your results. So remember, resiliency is your ability to adapt to any situation and grow because of it. How can I learn from this? If it's not working, what can I learn? What can I do differently? That adaptability, that flexibility, that resiliency is going to be so powerful for you because it's going to show you your power because it's all there. You have it all. It's all within you. Your immune system is doing that all the time. So let's articulate it, let's manifest it when it comes to our success. You have the successful strategy within you. We just got to now adapt it to this dream, goal, and outcome of ours. So know your outcome, take massive inspired action, and become aware of the results and the resiliency to start to adapt. Now, the other step is to really get your mindset and your body in peak state. And this comes down to recognizing. It still comes to awareness. Like, are you waking up tired? Are you fueling your body in a negative way? Are you doing behaviors which aren't serving you? Whether it be social media, Netflix, movies, socializing too much, not to put any judgment on those things, right? Because it's okay to maybe have a drink. It's okay to maybe have some fast food. Maybe it's okay to watch some Netflix and socialize and things like that. But if we're doing it to the extreme and we keep on doing it, then we're not going to get to where we want to be. So our mind and body, state of mind and body, is something that you've got to start to recognize. Be conscious of what your unconscious mind is doing. Be conscious of the behaviors that you've been running. All of those things. You've got to be aware, are the things I'm doing allowing me to get closer? When it comes to not the actions necessarily, like I said in number 2, but more of the present actions you've been doing. Maybe you got to give up some Netflix. Maybe you got to give up X, Y, Z, and therefore allow more time into doing other things. Maybe we do more hypnosis. Maybe we invest more. Maybe we do meditation. Maybe we fuel our body differently. Maybe we make sure we go to sleep at the right time. Remember, time is the longest thing you have left. But it's getting shorter every single day. It's so weird to think about it. Life in general is the longest thing you'll ever do. Literally, right? It's the longest thing you'll ever do. But the time of that is decreasing by the second. So make those seconds count. Have the time blocks. Have the units of your time. If we had, say, 24 units a day, which is hours, and let's just say, hopefully, we're getting a good 7 units there of sleep, hopefully. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But what other units are you spending on? Are you putting like 2 units, 1 unit into Netflix, 1 or 2? And like going on your phone and looking at your watch time and everything can be pretty crazy of how much time you're spending there. Are you willing to give up that? Or partly give it up to get the success that you want? These are questions we've got to ask ourselves. I can't do that for you. You've got to really look on the inside and go, look, is this yielding what I really want? Yes, maybe it's escapism. Yes, maybe that alcohol or that cigarettes or the Netflix or the social media or hanging out with my friends changes my state. But is it really making me happy compared to the success that I want? Big decisions can be made. Sometimes I ask myself, am I willing to let go of who I am to who I'm about to become? Am I willing to give up certain behaviors in my life to get to where I want to be? And I sometimes don't like the answer. I'm like, there's a little bit tricky. This is a hard judgment call. But in the end, if I really want it enough, I've got to go all in on it. I never used to be this way, but I am so focused these days. Like, I focus on the 1 or 2 things which are going to transform my life. The 1 or 2 dreams, goals, or outcomes that if I hit will transform my life, my legacy, in how I want to leave the world. When I go all in on those, when I go all in and recognize that 1 or 2 things, my big goals and dreams, are more than, say, the Netflix or the Facebook or what have you, I'm going to give those things up in an instant, because also giving up or at least decreasing those is temporary. Doesn't mean you've got to always give them up. It doesn't mean that you've always got to let go. I mean, maybe you will, who knows? But in the short term, are you willing to go through that pain of letting go of stuff, things, the things you do, in order to get to where you want to be? Have that wake-up call. Am I prepared to live the same life I've been living and stay the same? What is the worst thing about my issue of not having my goal? And what will happen if it stays the same? If that doesn't scare you a little bit, if that doesn't make you go, oh my goodness, if I stay the same way for the rest of my life, or I never get that goal or dream, I'm going to feel like I've not lived and loved life, then you have to have that wake-up call and go, look, I'm ready to change. Joseph, I'm going to do whatever you say, or whatever it takes from someone else, whatever it is. You've got to make that decision. I think of it as a wake-up call. We're awakening to what's really happening, our pain, but also awakening to what is possible in our life. Now, the last step, the 6th one, is an interesting one, which I never used to say, but it's something that I've really gone 100% need it, have to have it. We talked a little bit about it on the episode before last, which was the money mindset, was your sphere of influence, because you are being influenced every single moment. I'm influencing you in some way right now. Not a bad thing, hopefully, right? But we are always being influenced. Where it be the ads that we see, the social media posts we see, the news that we see, the friends that we hang out with, our parents, for example, we're being influenced by so many different truths. Because I'm not saying they're wrong, it's just their truth, right? So many different opinions, so many experiences, that sometimes we forget who we're surrounding ourselves with. So your sphere of influence, the last one, comes in two ways. The sphere of the effects upon you, so the influences coming your way, but also the influence you're pushing out. In other words, if I want to get successful and I want to have that success, I'm going to increase my sphere of influence by surrounding myself with people who can show me how to live that success in the quickest, shortest period of time. Easiest way to do it. I'm not going to figure it out myself. I've tried that. It is crazy hard and very expensive, whether it be in money because you're trying all these crazy random things, or time because we get defeated. I'm going to find the shortest way to get there. So my sphere of influence expands when I bring people into me. The other one is being aware of the influential thoughts I have within myself. How can I influence my thoughts with the people that I surround myself with? How can I level up? We said this, I don't think it's strictly, well, it's not scientific, but you are the sum of the 5 closest people around you. Now, whether it's 10, whether it's 2, I don't really care. The philosophical meaning to it still takes place and still makes sense to me. Whoever you surround yourself with influences you. So maybe like the Netflix, because we are being surrounded and influenced there, we need to change that. Where it be social media, news, all the things that I've said. It doesn't have to be people. You've got to maybe bring in the right influence of person into your life, but maybe you've got to bring the right influence, like say with decreased Twitter, for example, we got to increase the influence of maybe a podcast, maybe a book, maybe a coach, maybe some empowering music. You see, it's not just about the sum of who you are by people who you're around with, but it's the influence of all the other things too. So become conscious. You're here to be awake. I don't want you to be asleep. I don't want you to be sedated by life. I want you to be living and loving life. So start to surround yourself. I always loved it. I couldn't even make heads or tails of it in the beginning. But standing on the shoulders of giants is such a cool statement when I think about it, because you surround yourself with people who inspire you. You're surrounding yourself with people who get you. You're surrounding yourself with people who are ultimately going to support you in life and allow you to be the person that you want to be. You're going to be influenced by their successes, their celebrations. You're going to be influenced by their life. When you do that, you will start to see such a difference. So you could say, these 6 steps is that wake-up call. To not focus on what you don't want. Be like the satellite navigation and focus on your destination. For when you do, consciously, your unconscious mind's going to take you there that bit quicker. Number 2, to take that massive inspired action. Do it because you want it. Do it because you mean it. Do it because you deserve it and it's your birthright. Number 3, to be aware of the results you're getting. If something's not working, do something different. Get out your own way. Because when you do, you're going to start to bring in a whole new reality. And of course, we've got to have that 4th one, which is the resiliency, it's adaptability, it's the flexibility. All of those things will allow you to adjust yourself, to get on course. I mean, another thing I didn't think about at the time, but I think this is true. I may be lying, who knows? So this is my influencing metaphor, which may not be true, but I heard that planes most of the time are kind of off target, because they're always adapting and adjusting from the air pressure, the wind speed, all that kind of craziness, right? So they're always adjusting themselves, always adapting to where they want to be. Because if they just kept on going in the same place with no adjustment, they will just be off course. So recognize we're always adjusting, always adapting. And when we come from that philosophy of evolution that you have within you, you're going to get there. And then we set about being in that peak state. What am I doing to my mind and body? What am I experiencing? How am I prioritizing myself when it comes to what can I do today, this week, 3 actions, 2 actions to get me closer? Most of the time we don't even think about it. We're asleep. There's a book. You may not like it. I mean, the audio book's a little bit crazy, to be honest. Don't listen to that at night. But a Napoleon Hill book, which was Outwitting the Devil. There's an interesting philosophy book around it, mindsets around it. But in the part of it, the so-called devil is talking about how people are passengers in life. And I think that is true. I think most of the time we feel like a passenger. We feel like just a byproduct. We're just an observer. No, wake up to realize that you are in charge of your success. You are in charge of being the person you want to be. So when we have that mindset, that state of mind and body, that we're not going to be a passenger anymore. We're not going to just be a product. We're not going to have reasons. We're going to shine. We're going to rise. We're going to take responsibility. And then lastly, the sphere of influence. Not by just people, which is the common thing that people say, that you are the sum of the 5 closest people around you. No, let's go deeper. You are the sum of your environment. You've got to sometimes adapt to your environment to get to where you want to be. For when you do, life will never be the same again. So let's go ahead and rise up. Let's go ahead and shine. I hope you enjoyed this episode, because that will get you the success. And of course, if you need to get there in light speed, you want to let go of the imposter syndrome, you want to let go of the feeling like you don't belong, that you not enough, you're not worthy, you're deserving, and you are a professional who is ready to level up their career, level up their business in the most beautiful, effortless, and might I say, an enjoyable way. Go to josephclough.info/talk. When you go there, you're going to book a time. You're going to have to be able to speak to us. Before you speak to us, you fill out a little questionnaire application form, because you're technically applying to work with me and my team to get you there in the most easiest, profound way. So when you do that, you fill it out, you attend the call, we'll get clear on all the things about where you are, where you want to be, what's getting in the way, what unconscious aspects are getting in the way, and on top of that, the plan to make it a reality. I don't care if you had it for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, we let it go in 8 weeks, 100%, every single time. It's what we do. I've been doing this for 2 decades. I know exactly how to let go of the imposter syndrome, and we do it day in, day out. It is very limited in space because it is customized, and once again, you've got to be truly invested in yourself, because the results, the returns you get are gonna be just epic. And of course, finally, if you're not ready to invest in yourself, feel free to download the free hypnosis app. On the free hypnosis app at freehypnosis.app, you'll be able to listen to all of these free episodes from the podcast, from the YouTube, and 680 episodes now, which is crazy cool. Just download them, listen to them every single day. You can change in the day, you can transform in the night. So in other words, as you go to sleep at night, if you unlock the app or just buy an in-app purchase for like $3 or $4, I think, or unlock the app right now for like $25-30, something like that. And of course, if you're enjoying the work, please go ahead and leave a review, because that means we're changing the world together. And there's nothing more than I like than supporting one another to be free, be the example, and your review may change a life. I really mean that. Some people have actually said, and emailed me in other words, or gone to an event, and they said somehow they found the app, they looked at a review, read it and thought, well, I'll give it a go, and it stopped them from making a very, very bad decision. In other words, taking their life. So I'm very, very serious about this. Your review can make such a huge difference. I'm happy to keep providing the free content for now, and obviously intend to for the future. But if you can help out by supporting the show, supporting the app, then we can make the world a better place. And that's what I'm all about. That's my intention. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want you to know that, look, you're worthy. You've got everything you need. So let's just make it happen together. Let's do what has to be done. So with that, many thanks and goodbye.